Yo, what is going on, everybody? Hope you are well. I'm really excited to do this. So I was going to do a Zen replay analysis a couple of weeks ago when he actually broke the record, getting to 2660 and 2672, but I was struggling to get a good replay and a recent replay. And since then, he's gone on to get the first player in history to reach 2.7k. And if you don't understand how big that is, it's not just a case that he went on a huge streak and won loads of games and got 10 MMR a game. When you get to this level, when you're at this level, he's lucky to get 2 MMR a game, and he'll be losing about 15 to 20 MMR a game. So that just puts into perspective how incredible this achievement is. I've got a video coming up on Zen soon. I've been working on a huge pack so you can play like Zen. I've got a notepad that I'm writing all the things down from all of his replays that I'm noticing that he does. And we're going to go over some of them here and some of the things that you can add to your game. So this video that I'm working on might take maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks for the pacifist cohort to come out. But I've had quite a few messages recently. Can you do a replay analysis on Zen? So this is a replay, the most recent one on boardchasing.com at a 2.7k. So let's get into this. Let's look at some of the things Zen is absolutely just... he's in a league of his own at the moment. And they didn't have a great performance vitality recently, but... I mean, 2.7k, it reminds me of the film, The Right Stuff, where they beat the sound barrier. And it just reminds me of that, like, you know, he's got Mach 2, he's got the sound barrier. It's almost like that. We saw 2.5, we saw 2.6, and now we're seeing 2.7. And it makes you wonder, where does this end? Could anyone ever get to 3k? Could you imagine? So, I know a lot of people look at this and go, well, it's basically the same as, you know, for Zen, to play like a grand champ is like a grand champ playing like a gold. I'd argue that it's probably like a grand champ playing a bronze for Zen to play even a low SSL at this point. Because like I say, it's not linear, it's like the way it scales, he gets less MMR for a win and more MMR lost for a loss. So if you imagine if you're a grand champ or an SSL or, you know, a really high rank, you imagine how bored it is if you were to play someone who's silver and bronze. You'd find it like ridiculously easy. That's how Zen would probably play Feeling You, which is pretty terrifying to think about. We're going to see what Zen does here. You know, we're going to see some of the fundamental skills that he is really good at. And I said this before in a previous one because I've done a few replay analysis of Zen here. I really think his fundamentals and his game sense are getting better and better. Like in this replay, for example, you know, I'm already looking and I'm seeing him build up the middle. I'm seeing a lot more central. There we go, a much more central presence, and here he is back on the board. But one thing Zen does better than anyone in the world is something I mentioned in, I believe it was the replay analysis in the Q&A recently. He does probably the best job of what I call invisible Rocket League. It's so subtle, some of the stuff he's doing, that even like really good players aren't actually noticing what he's doing. And some players are, and they're saying, how's he doing that? His dexterousness, or whatever you want to say, dexterity on the controller, is next level, because what he's doing, he's able to air roll himself and get his car to face perfect positions. Then he does his second jump and then his second jump to get the movement he wants perfectly. Then he will go back to the, say, air roll, for example, if he needs to. You combine that with his mechanics, you're going to see something extremely special. The other thing is, you can also see here how, like we've said for a long time, if you take fundamental skills and you mix in with the mechanics and you mix in with vision, which is the strongest thing, you get basically a Zen, you know, you get a player like this. So it's fantastic to see. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going through this as we're watching it here. And also Seikoo, I mean, everyone played really well here. This is a really high scoring game, so this is entertaining, this game, to watch. Although there was a lot of kickoff goals. I'd love to have a kickoff like Jazzy and Fab, though, because they seem to just be working really well together on these kickoffs. Interestingly enough, and I could be wrong, when I looked at the stats for this, it said that these games were at 7 AM. Now, you know, gaming hours are so different nowadays. I remember, you know, gaming hours was like 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, maybe 5 AM was gaming hours, but now these players are up until 7 AM. And then they go to bed, you know. It's not like they're getting up early, like, I'm going to grind this morning. No. They're going to stay up all night till 7, 8 AM and then sleep until like 3 PM. Just the gamer's life, isn't it? So here we go. Then again with the flip resets and map space here, so it's going to be a goal, you know. this whole argument is all about map space most of the time. There was actually, I was looking at doing a replay of this, like I say, a few weeks ago. Oh, bit of FPS like that. And the replay I found was Zen and Astral, and it was 1-0 and it went into overtime, and it was quite a boring game in all honesty. And one of the reasons the game lasted, and do you know what, I believe it was the same opponents, but one of the reasons it lasted so long was due to they were just trying to force the ball into the net from point blank range over and over and over, and they just couldn't. And what you're looking at here is much more utilization of map space, and you know, just less of just trying to force it in, because at the end of the day, you know, at this level, all these players are like, well, obviously we've got Zen, the number one at the moment, but Seikoo, I don't know what the ranks are, because do you know what, it's so hard to find the ranks actually, because the thing doesn't work, but you know, they're all top 50, you could say they're all top 50, and so it's difficult to score against the top 50 players sometimes from point blank range, because they're so good at defending. So oftentimes you need to pull them out of the net, and what, like we just saw there, they pulled them out of the net because it was really good. They forced, Zen forced a double commit. What you are actually seeing in that Astral replay is they weren't really forcing too many double commits, so they weren't able to force them out of the net. And you really need to, these top players, you need to get them out of the net to score a lot of the time, or they need map space to create. If they don't have map space and they haven't pulled you out of the net, scoring a goal is extremely difficult, as Zen goes straight up again. I mean, he is so good, and obviously we're going to cover this in a minute, but he's so good at getting up into the air. And one of the biggest skills I feel he's mastered compared to everyone else is being able to air dribble directly upwards. Like you see there, Jazzy's moving forward, and he doesn't really get to a very high height. He's moving forward, and it's like mid-height, whereas Zen prioritizes going directly up first, unless he's got the space and the vision to make more things happen. So it's different. He's playing extremely high when he does go up. It's extremely high. And in fact here, this is funny that Seikoo misses that, because, you know, one of the things you'll often hear me say in the videos is I'm not a fan of people picking up the ball in the corner. I prefer the first man to stay on the ball, because if you take someone out of goal side and out of the net in the corners, even here, like we say, top 50, I mean, Seikoo, top 10, you could say, 2v2. Even Seikoo makes mistakes in the corner there, and it's easily done because it's so hard to read. You need, because you're moving towards the ball, you have less frames of contact for that specific area because the way it's moving around. So I've never been a big fan of people doing that. And here we go, flip reset, just try and get it around again. They're doing a very good job in defense, Fabso and Jazzy here. There we go, we've pulled one out, we've got the overcommit, and now we've got map space, and that could be all she wrote. Let's have a look. Beautiful. Yeah, really good fake there. Not much you can do in a one-on-one with map space. That's the thing, the map space. And here we go. All right, well, let's get into this replay, and let's have a little look at a little review of what's actually going on. All right, so as before, I don't think we're going to go too crazy on these kickoffs. You know, both players follow up. Guys, I was playing, so I've recorded all the episodes now for the Fundamental series. Got the Grand Champ. Actually pretty good. I think from Champ 2 to Grand Champ, 4 losses, so pretty good. That's from Champ 2 Division 1 to Grand Champ, 4 losses the whole way with fundamentals and really no mechanics. So one of the biggest things that struck me in Champ 3, which would really surprise me, is the lack of following on the kickoffs is outrageous. So you see the high level players, they get on the ball straight away. Seikoo's trying to make a play happen, but here's your issue, okay? And he's done the right thing, he's trying to make a play, he's gone for an aerial. But this is what I'm talking about with the high level players. Having 2 players back here, right? They've got a really good defensive shell. They've got 1 blocking goal side here. We've got 1 in back post. Being able to also block goal side if it goes bad, he can move into it. Could be here, he can move into it also. And he's able to follow this play if it goes badly. And, you know, so on and so forth. And he does the right thing. He pre-jumps here. This is the right thing to do. So a lot of people are getting scored on because they're really... And this is something I talk about in the upcoming episode in the fundamentals. You have to pre-jump this. You do. If you're... Even if you're Champ 3 now, you need to know that they're going to most likely go in the air. And you can see Jazzy is already up. Now, this is what makes Zen so good. And this is one of the key skills. And this is most of the training pack if you want to be like Zen. We've seen Monkey Moon. All right, we've seen how good he is at jabs. And, you know, I always bang on about the jab, jab, jab. I mean, I go on about it so much, and I know it probably does people's heads in, but there is a real good reason for that. As I've said before, people say, oh, it's boring though, you don't do anything. you know, I don't like the no mechanics. Your ideas don't work. Look, to get to mechanics, you need fundamentals. The reason Zen is so good at getting to the mechanics is because his jabs are so good. Like, he's got the best jab in the world. Like, bar none. This is the best. He's got the best drift and the best jab and the best drift jab in the game. And that, combined with his aerial stuff, that's just the finishing on a perfect base of fundamentals. He jabs it straight up. I want you to look at this. This is what makes him so good. Look what he does. He goes under the ball, like directly under. Now, this is very different to a lot of players. Now, most players don't go directly under the ball here. They're looking to push it forward and they would get blocked. Zen, as we know, you want to hover, you want to force them low. You always want to force them low. Zen goes right up to the ceiling. Like, he always does this. So now you can't really force him low because he's already up at the peak height. And because he's going up, he can't move forward. It's really difficult to move forward if you're going up, like, directly up. It's really hard to move forward. So what he does is he goes directly up to the ceiling, this is like his signature move, right? And he gets his ability to drive and shoot off the ceiling with the free flip reset, as you can see there, so he can manipulate the ball. So this is a skill worth getting good at, and we're going to have packs with this exact move over and over again. And, you look at this, it's just so well done how he gets up so quick. We're going to slow this down just so you guys can see this, and it'll come up in a bit later. Single jump, touch it. He doesn't single jump with the touch. And the reason a lot of players have to do this is because they usually jab it forward. But because he's not jabbing it forward, he doesn't need to jump with the ball straight away. And that's extremely important because if you jump with the jab, a lot of the time, there's such a tiny error that you can hit that and it can throw your car out and you're actually going to use more boost. Here, Zen actually lets it go above him, then jumps. And then, look at this. Jumps as he lets go for a second, jumps again to get right up, and he just air rolls straight underneath that ball. It's so impressive. And he actually does all of this in ball cam. And he gets one touch to the ceiling, and it doesn't matter if he gets a soft bounce, because he can, if it does get a soft bounce, he jumps off. And if it doesn't, he can drive off if he wants to. But now he gets his jump, and he knows his 1.4 seconds, and he can just put it in. So that is really, really impressive stuff, and it's something you see Zen do a lot. He goes directly up, and it's something you can incorporate into your games. It's funny, even I, you know how bad I am mechanically, have been using this to score these sort of moves, just going full on up to the backboard, because you can smash it Devo style onto the corner. So Zen, I think Zen wants to hit this. I actually think he means to hit this. If you look here, I think he's trying to hit this, get a brush hit so that it goes into the corner with him, and he doesn't get it. But he gets his boost here, thinks about going onto the backboard to block, comes down to try and see what Jazzy's going to do. And then it's this. This is the stuff that, look how fast he gets up. And we're going to have to slow this down just so you can see the movement, what he's doing here. So single jump here. So he single jumped, right? And he needs to get up, and he wants to go a little bit forward as well. So he air rolls to there. Then he does his jump, which sends him directly upwards and a little bit further forward. And look how high he gets so quick. So he's doing the right thing defensively. He's getting above the ball to prevent it coming high, which prevents all their flip resets. And he's just crunching it straight away. And he's not, and again, above the ball, he's not allowing them to get their hit off. Remember, and you'll hear this coming up a lot, you have to match the height or get above the ball on defense as early as possible. We just saw Jazzy try to do it, but then just went up to the ceiling. I mean, that is the next level, isn't it? So again here, really good from Zen. This is something he's definitely worked on. You go back and watch his replays from a year ago in twos. He was a little bit of a wider player. It's something I would definitely criticized back in the day. But now we see that he builds up so much more central. He very rarely goes towards the outside. If he does, it's just a pad to get back into the middle. Even though that is a goal, he's staying much more central focused now, which is allowing him the speed of picking up the ball. So again, you can add that to your game. Good demo here. Again, perfect. He's got an opportunity here. Going to go off the ceiling. I think there was a bit of a glitch here, but he uses that ceiling so well. Bounces it off the ceiling. And, I remember this years ago. People were talking about smashing that ball off the ceiling for a center. If you're centering the ball, maybe instead of going to the backboard, can you just smash it off the ceiling and take everyone off guard? Well, adding that to your own play is just unbelievable. Now here, so he doesn't get the boost. He rotates it. Now the issue I've got with this is Seikoo also building up the middle, but then starts to peel across for the pickup. And then he's forced to dive in. That's the only issue with this for me, is that he's forced to dive in. He's got a great inside position here. Luckily, Jazzy has made it obvious he's going to go for a flick, and no one actually gets this boost. So Jazzy here is below the ball. Now, my argument here is, had Jazzy have been above the ball and let this come down, he could have took a safer 50 with Seikoo here, or even tried a real quick side pass onto Fabso to then attack the middle. Now, I still do feel that even at the top levels, this isn't being utilised enough. I do think there's much more that can be done here. Of course, Seikoo is going to go for that and win just because they haven't really gotten rid of it in a fundamental manner. As soon as Zen comes in, straight back into the middle, tries to get some bumps, and just plays it to the side. Matches the height of the ball, can't. So he flips a bit dodgily here. So he tries to match height of the ball, can't do it, so he's going to have to retreat. As he's retreating, the issue is Jazzy gets map space. You can see how dangerous this is. So if we go back to Jazzy's perspective here, gets the map space, soft touch, comes up here and gets the flip reset, super dangerous, and does get it around Seikoo. A little bit of a heavy first touch though, but again, Seikoo doing a very good job, I will say that, being nice and central. And look at this is, I mean, the SSLs, they do this so well. See, if you look at Seikoo here, this is a top level player for you. Watch the relativity of the ball to Jazzy's nameplate, and what you'll see, a lot of lower ranked players won't spend too much attention, I'll just change this colour, won't be too concerned with that this ball is centered on Jazzy's nameplate. So the higher the level player, the better they are at keeping that ball directly in the middle of an opponent. And what that means is, if you're doing that, most likely that ball will come to that area. Now, most players will go wide or go too far or even go directly to net, and they won't actually get the free pickup. So sometimes what players will do, they're almost there but not quite, and you see this in Grand Champ even. They'll come here and you can see that Jazzy's probably putting this to the corner, okay, until now he goes back in. But let's say he didn't get the flip reset, they've missed out on the opportunity to get this boost. Now what Seikoo does, which again, I know this was about Zen, but you know, it's a replay analysis, we've got to talk about Seikoo here, is just look at how often the ball's in the middle. And he's lining himself up again to get the ball in the middle. Look at this, ball's in the middle. And now, as he sees Jazzy go around the ball, he's like, damn, I got to get to the middle. So I got to center this guy's nameplate. And he tries to. He does jump. If he just centered it, it's because he had the flip reset and he could have flicked it upwards. And then he'll crunch it when the flip resets in. So really, really good stuff there with that just centralization of the nameplates. Really cool. It doesn't always work again, guys. Just know, you have to know what they can do here. But just brilliant. And again, even Zen's doing the same. They're trying to put it as central as possible. Gets the free pickup. Instantly tries to lift this ball as soon, so he's either got to kill this, move to the side, or lift it. He wants to attack because it's 2v1, so he tries to play it around Fabso. Had he have connected with that side flip properly, they're off, and that's a goal. Just couldn't get it. He's going to go for a demo there. This is actually a pretty good idea because Seikoo's rotating around. I'm going to go for a demo, and it's going to leave a 1v1. Fabso's in the corner. It was really good vision here from Zen, but he does just unfortunately clip his teammate, and that's going to be the end of that. Seikoo's forced to go in here, and to be honest, it's so close. A millisecond before, a millisecond after would have been a goal. Yeah, so really, to be honest, it's tricky read. That's a little bit fortunate. Again, good kickoff here. If you look at this, comes over, grabs that boost. That fake is what forces Seikoo away, and that's massive because now they get this map space. Great block by Seikoo, has to. So if you ever see a pass coming across the middle like this, you have to intercept these passes. You have to, because remember, the rule on defense is you've got to match the height of the ball. So Seikoo has to go up and block this, because if he doesn't, if he stays grounded, Jazzy here can come across, say, behind him and just smash that. And these are going to be at 130 plus because of those passes. The shot off those passes comes so quick. So good play again from Seikoo. Then getting back using his dashes. Again, look at this. It's so impressive to see this improvement here from Zen. It's really nice to see. Again, just goes boom, and he just straight back down the middle. And now look. Just look at the difference here. If you go above right now, who's the most central player? Zen. He's attacking the middle. He's attacking the middle of the map. So therefore, he gets to this ball first. So when I look at this, Fabzo here starts peeling. I mean, yeah, they're looking for a pass, but it's just a little bit too wide, and that's the power of being more of a central presence here in Zen, and that he can pick up this ball first, and he goes for an air dribble. So he goes for a double touch, and he just gets bumped. And again, I got to be fair, I don't know how intentional that was, but I feel that was quite fortunate. So there we go. But again, great idea to attack the middle, and he was looking for the double touch. Seikoo does what, you know, you try and tell people not to do this too much. He's obviously trying to put a really hard shot on there. The problem is it's low. So Fabso here can move into it quite easily and make the save. He needed a bit more height, needed a bit of a pinch there. And those shots are so common. I call them flat shots. You've probably heard that. And they end up more being a pass. Now you can see that Fabso's on the ball, 100 boost. He's got map space for days here. Like, look how much map space he's got. And this all came from the shot. So this just came from taking this shot. And was it needed? Oh, look, at the end of the day, this is Seikoo. You're expecting him to top corner it. But what I would say is, if you're not Seikoo, if you're a champ 3, if you're a champ 2, champ 1, and you're struggling, and you're not converting a lot of these shots, stop taking them. Stop taking them, train them maybe, work on some packs, or maybe just look for jabs. And, you know, work on little mind games instead. Because that'll actually be a much higher percentage play. Because what you do if you don't get it successful, if you do shoot flat, which a lot of players, in fact, pretty much everyone in champ 2 does, champ 3 as well, you give away possession, you're on the opposite side of the plate, and you've given up free map space. And a lot of you players out there will say, the guys I'm playing, they can do musty flip resets, yada yada, right? That's fair, and it's true. They can. Champ 2 players can do it. Champ 3 players can do it. They will definitely do it if you give them this, because this is a perfect setup. And so what you want to be doing is you want to eliminate that by not being as forceful on your offense, because then you can eliminate that. Now, don't get me wrong. This is the top players in the world. They need to go for that, and they've got to trust themselves to make that shot high and actually really force a difficult save. But I'm saying that if you're not Seikoo in that level of consistency, work on it first before you do it in game if your intention is to rank up. Okay, you can work on those shots in packs and still get ranks if you just go for jabs. You might see something different on the game. Just to go back so we know where we are. For example, I know it's not the exact same situation, but here, Zen could very easily have shot this, okay? It's not the same angle exactly, but instead he goes for a jab and decides to go upwards. Even if you're a low level, there's nothing wrong with that jab, because if you're not Zen, but you can jab the ball well, okay, and you stay grounded here, you can actually watch Jazzy go up, and they're using boost, and they've double jumped, so they can only hit the ball down. They can't shoot it, so they tap it down, and then you can go clean it up. Okay, so just something to consider there when you're sort of looking at this game. You can do much simpler things if you're struggling. So yeah, we got map space, and map space is dangerous, absolutely, especially against the SSLs. Zen knows that. He's panicking. He needs to close the distance. He's come wide, which is a danger because there's no one goal side as last man. So had Fabso have seen this earlier, great save from Fabso, great touch. Now if he spots Zen's nameplate there and instantly shoots this, that's a goal, believe it or not. That is actually a goal. Now, he'd have to ground shoot it, by the way. I'm talking not letting it bounce. And I think Zen knows this because he's come wide. He's come really far across and he's tried to flip into a goal side position. He's actually removed himself from goal side the moment he crossed it, which is pretty unfortunate. But that's one of the risks you take. What Zen's done here is this is like a really smart play. He is trying to purposely leave goal side open, I think, here, to then make Fabso shoot so that he's going to try and flip into the middle to block the shot. And Fabso actually double bluffs it and he just doesn't go for it. And this causes a 2v1, and they've got the map space again. It was the shot that caused this map space, and it's just going to be a very simple air dribble bump, and again into that. Now, one of the things I want to point out here, again, Champ 2's Grand Champs. In this series, in this upcoming series, you'll see that so many times I do this, a similar play to this is not as mechanical. So many times this happens, and my teammate is like here, literally right here, so they can't score. Then they have to take it backwards, or they're here, and they just smack it off the crossbar. So even though, like, what I want you to look at here is Jazzy, again SSL, goes into the middle and gives himself at least, like, he slows right down there. So he actually goes to, like, he goes beyond boost pad 2, because obviously we talk about boost pad 2. He goes beyond that, but again, he's got good vision. This is what I'm saying, like, this is why vision is the key here. He understands the momentum here. He understands it's an air dribble bump, so it'll be a tap-in, but he still slows down right after here. He slows right down before he sees what's going on, then goes for it. So just if you're playing Champ 3, Champ 2, those ranks, don't be so close to your teammate. And in fact, have you guys noticed that we haven't seen many close to teammate plays in this game? People are often telling me how you got to play faster and you got to be right up your teammates' exhaust there, getting the old fumes, but you never really see that at this level. And obviously on a kickoff, everyone does that because you're trying to win the kickoff outright because it's so powerful, and it's just a kickoff goal. Whoever wins it gets a goal, most of the time, and there's never one. Let's just go for a fake here. This is really smart. Let's have a look at this. Nice jab up. And again, map space is what you need here. So it comes off the kickoff, really good. There's a brilliant pass from Fabso and a brilliant first touch here from Jazzy. Off the ceiling again. You notice this thing now. This is becoming like the meta, is off the ceiling stuff, off the ceiling. And not so much with the cars, in fact. This is the third play we've seen a player purposely hit the ball into the ceiling to then get their final touch. Or in this case, use it for a 50. And this is the problem you get with map space. And I know it's off the kickoff, so no one can half and prevent this, but you get momentum. They can move the momentum at you, and then they can get above the ball. And so if you're a defender, you have to get above the ball here. And it's very hard to do. So no one's like Seikoo can't get above the ball on impact. He's a little bit lower, Jazz is higher, and it's going to go in. Now, obviously, this is an extremely high level play. Not expecting anyone to do this. But again, take what you can and put it into your game. In defense, try and get a little bit more above the ball. And you'll be surprised at how well you can do here. We get the follow on this kickoff. And this time, the blue team wins. I just got to say, though, Jazzy and Fabso, so many good little plays. And again, so Zen's going to go up straight away. So he sees that this is quite a difficult play here from Jazzy, because we were talking earlier about what makes Zen so good off the ground. He's able to stay with the ball. And I think because he's so understanding of nose positions, when he hits that ball, he's flying upwards. I think he spots that Jazzy isn't doing that. So when Jazzy hits this ball forward, you look, boom, nose is down. So because the nose is down, he can't boost. Now he can boost. That takes too long. Zen's already seen that. If you look at Zen right here, and again, this is that vision he's got, a great vision and awareness. There's the flip. Now see the nose. So a really high level player like Zen, who understands this game, can say, well, actually, I can beat him to this because he is going to fight to get up. And if you don't understand what I mean, look at this curve of that boost. He's actually boosting to fight the downward momentum to come back up, whereas Zen can go straight up. So he's way quicker up to the ball. Watch that again. Grabs the boost. He's watching this. And honestly, the way he does this, it's incredible. Because he is able to get so high. You just watch this again. Single jump there. And then he single jumps. It's I don't know how he does it. It's almost... He boosts, turns, and single jump. I don't know. It's unbelievable what he does. Anyway, the point of the matter is he's recognized that there's an issue here with the momentum of Jazzy, and so he gets above Jazzy's hitbox. Whenever you're looking at a teammate, let's say if I'm down here, right, and I'm thinking, do I push up? Like, I'm looking for a 50, right? Let's just say, for example, I am here, and I see my teammate go up. When you see their nameplate, see how Zen's nameplate is higher than Jazzy's? You see that, and it will be any way you look at it, pretty much. Still higher, like still higher. Any way you look at, the height of Zen's nameplate is above Jazzy's. Hopefully you can see that. Now what that means in an aerial play is the highest player wins like 90% of the time. And so what you're looking at, if you're a second man here or whatever, and you see your teammate up, you can push on this now because you know he's going to win it because he's above the ball, and now you could pick it up if you wanted to. Oh, there you go, Seikoo has. So Seikoo's probably seen this. Yeah. So if you actually look at this from Seikoo's perspective, it's even easier to see what I'm on about. So as he's rotating, see how Zen's hitboxes are higher? It always will be. So now Seikoo can turn pretty much instantly and know that's going to be good and can put a shot on target again. It's a flat shot. So it does mean, as it's a low shot or a flat shot, whatever you want to call it, that it is easier for Fabso to save. And Jazzy gets rid of this ball. A little bit of panic here. Sort of smashes it. Just wants to get rid of it. Recoup, put some pressure on. Again, you have to be careful here. Now, one thing Zen does well is he allows himself to move forward into this. This is very, very, very key if you're going to rotate and pick up the play in the corner. you need to be moving forward into it, or you can wait a little bit further back, or just stay on the borders first, man, so that you can move with the ball and get you more frames. Because what I mean by this is Zen has very few frames to hit this ball, because the ball's moving towards him, he's moving towards that. If he misses, you know, he's got like this 1 frame to get it right. But it's so easy to drive into these balls and read them, right? I think we'll all agree. You could all do this. And so I just want you to note that for what's coming up in a minute. Then forces it up. Not the best thing there, you know, he could have done something else. He could have stayed with that ball. He could have tried to kill it, but he's trying to go up there. It mislands himself, and Jazzy's got the pre-read. And again, this is why it's so important to flash this position. When you know this is coming, always flash the position, because if they slow play it, they might panic. You might be able to challenge them. And if they shoot it, you can get to the ball first. And that's exactly what Jazzy's done. Again, a great play from all of these guys. He knows Jazzy's hit this ball too hard, so he's going to pick this up as early as possible. And he goes up again. Now, this is what, here you go. This is a perfect thing what I'm on about. I mean, this does end in a goal, but this is like the difference between Zen and everyone else. Notice Seikoo gets behind the ball, like everyone else does pretty much, and pushes it forward. So he gets it to like a terminal height that he's quite happy with, like middle of the map height. And then he starts pushing from behind it and just actually gets this dunk. So it's a bit fortunate. Whereas then, I feel here, would go right up here. And that's what makes him so deadly, because he's getting way above the play and he's taking it into more options, basically. He's giving himself more options and time, and therefore map space. And again here, Seikoo has map space. This is why there's a massive misconception in this game. People think it's pressure, 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 pressure. But even if you watch RLCS, guys, and start noting it down, because you're going to be seeing hopefully a lot of RLCS over the next couple of weeks and months. If you're interested in that, look how many come off counters. Look how many goals come off counters. That's really your ticket right there. So this has come off a counter. Obviously, we've had the kickoff goals. Fair enough, they're their own element. But you'll find a lot of goals here come off the counter. All right, because it gives them map space. They can get the ball moving in their direction, which means they can put the ball towards net and they can force the opponent to make a save. The best players force the opponents to make saves, and they know what the save is. Like here, Seikoo knows Fabso's only option. He knows exactly where he has to put this ball to be safe based on his positioning. So all he has to do is jump into that gap and win the 50. Which is very different than what you'll see a lot of players do in Champ 3 and so on. Well, they'll just smash it into the corner and force the ball around the corner. They force it more at the net. And that's really the key here. And again, map space. So we get that to 100%. This kickoff. Okay, nice. Oh, surprised there's no demo. Looking for the double touch. I think Zen actually was in two minds here. I think he thought there might be a goalkeeper, then saw that there wasn't and tried a shot as opposed to the double touch and just misses it. Good recovery here. Nice try on the demo. Now, I want you to watch this. Now, in my opinion, right, I think here Zen should stay with Fabso, because it's clear, again, nameplates, right? So it's clear here Fabso is going to have to slow down to get a shot on target, or he's going to have to play it into the corner. I believe here Zen could actually flip across. There was a flip here, come across, and let's just say Seikoo didn't do this. Come here, grab this boost, grab this boost. Come now, if he's fast enough, he could even grab this boost, and he could go straight away into a map space goal. If Zen's mechanics, he can score this because he's got map space. This is why I really believe in the future, even more so, players will stick to that ball like glue, because I truly believe that Zen could have won this race if he planned it, if he'd be the one that planned it. And even if he didn't, he had like 40 boosts, 50, 60, okay, and he's here and he's off, and that's a 2v1, and he's going to do something spectacular in the air because he's forced to counter and he's forced the opponent into the corner, which means, believe it or not, they don't have a lot to work from. Like, again, this is where people panic. You think this opponent's got a lot to work from, but he actually hasn't. Like, even here, he's got to wait. You can see Fabso has to wait. See, he's waiting. He's in a dilemma. You know, it's so built into the system that you have to go into the corners. You have to really go into the corners. Fabso's like, and he realizes there's no angle here. So many people do this play, and you see it all the time in the low ranks. They come here all the time, and they're trying to do passes from the sky with zero boost. It doesn't work. It's not consistent. It is not safe, and it often ends in goals, or your teammate gets 2v1 because they're essentially passing the ball. They're behind the hitbox of the ball. So Fabso is actually waiting to get more map space, but it still isn't enough. He gets it round Zen. But it really is a free ball to Seikoo. And then Zen's going up to stop him doing flip resets and stuff like that. But I just wanted to point that out. So good little pass away here from Seikoo over to Zen, gets the boost. Zen on the board, and again, tries to get up as high as he can. He's trying to get that upwards. Always trying to go up, directly up. So he's trying to get under that board to pop it upwards as opposed to forwards. But he's actually gets smashed again by Jazzy. So that's the second time he's done that. So if you just look at this again, comes across and gets the smash. Pretty good because he came across the goal side to get that. Risky touch, but he recovers straight away. And what you'll also see as well is a lot of lower level players, you'd probably dive here because the ball's in front of the net, you'd probably dive. Seikoo's already turning away because he knows that there's no point diving here. It's so dangerous and it doesn't really work. And you can see Zen's right on top of the action and he's not going to either. And Zen's staying on the ball. So, you know, ask yourself truthfully, would you have rotated here? I think a lot of players would rotate here, but it's more about now getting that boost. That's the most important thing. Seikoo actually gets it. Seikoo doesn't even need to get this. He could let Zen get this in all fairness and be a little bit more central, a little bit more safer. But as long as one of them gets the boost, it's okay. Because if you look, there's 13 and there's 76. So 76 is good, but the 13 isn't. So getting that boost is crucial here. And Zen's able to, because like everyone's always, because they know the importance of this boost, right? Everyone knows on this whole pitch how important this boost is. This is like, this can control the next goal. This one boost grab can control the next goal. And everyone is panicking. Jazzy wants it / demo. Fabso wants it. Zen wants it. Seikoo wants it. Everyone wants this boost because it's a level 3 boost. It's the most valuable boost in the game. And there's been a lot of play. If you actually look at the amount of play we've had from play from it, there's been a lot of play. And so the boost totals are going to be stripped and people are moving at a fast pace. That's why this one's so key. If Seikoo or Zen doesn't grab this, then they've been given map space, as in room to work, okay, with boost. And if they get it, then they don't. They don't have the space and the boost to work. So this is key. And then because they're all going to the corner, you just need to hit it off the corner wall. And everyone's gone around. And now there is an opening for a potential shooter. That's why I believe in this situation. If I fly here, if I'm Seikoo and I go a bit more middle instead, and I start creeping over, and then Zen gets hit and I'm here, I could now move into this off this hit, and I could single jump, and I could actually do a front flip here, and it would hit it with the corner of the car and go in. And I don't think we're too far off seeing that. The players really just allowing the first man to grab the big boost. Let the first man rotate on the ball, take the big boost, and then all he's got to do is tap that ball, triangle defend, some sort of hit to put the ball into the middle for you, and then you can be the one to get the goal, as opposed to having to fake and move away. But again, they are under panic. They are stressed. This is not a position they want to be in. They throw the ball away straight away because they are interested in boost. Great defending from Seikoo. Funnels it into the corner, grabs the boost, goes after a demo. But the main thing here, what have we done? What have we achieved? We look at it here. Oh, Zen's dead. That's why I'm... There we go. Zen has been given the ball with map space. Game over. So that boost again, this whole boost grab led to a forced 50 from the middle to the outside. Zen's quite fortunately spawned here. Now remember earlier where I said I think Zen should have stayed on the ball and he could probably do something. This is what I'm talking about. Now look at the height. This is the mad thing here. Goes right up to the ball at the top. It gets it pretty much on the apex with a flip reset, which keeps that ball nice and high. He hasn't hit it too hard and hit it away from himself. He softened it and just kept it high. Then he goes again, gets under it, and he's forcing it upwards into the flip reset. And now he can place that shot. Rhythm break after rhythm break built into his sequence. Incredible stuff. Really amazing. But again, it comes off those fundamentals. So really nice to see. Of grabbing that boost and tapping it into the middle. And the defense made an error because they lost the goal side presence and they were both in the corner. Again, central. Really good from Zen to see this. He's following much more central now. And that's nice. So he lets Seikoo stay on the ball as first man. Now, I read a thing on Reddit and they say, oh god, these players are so terrible. They stick on the ball and they cross the map. This is what you're meant to do though, guys. You are meant to do this. Because it's much higher percentage. Now, what do you mean it's higher percentage? Look at Seikoo's boost. Look at Zen's boost. Zen is the second man. He hasn't been used for anything. Therefore, he has a lot of boost. He actually grabs a boost, I think, to get this from the back, okay? But he could also have made this up with pads because he's not being utilised. He's not needed in the play at this moment. Seikoo is working hard. He is on the ball. How many of you out here would have rotated in, right? I just know everyone would. Grab this boost and come up on the wall. Okay? Because that's what you're supposed to do. It doesn't make sense because you've already got 90 boost. Let your teammate get 90 boost or 100. Now as a team, you have 190 boost. On the flip side, they've got 0 about to top up. So once he tops up 132, there's no such thing as like athletics in this game. You can't make yourself, a 7-foot basketball player. You can't make yourself a Wembanyama. You can't make yourself quicker. Realistically, the car has a maximum speed. You can't make your car lighter or bigger. Well, I suppose you can. But really, it's all the same. So the only way, or the only statistic you can get to increase your strength, let's say, is having boost. And when you get to a certain level, it's how much boost you guys have as a team. If we have 190, we are a stronger team than the players with 100 or 130 in this case. We've got much more boost. So instead of Zen taking this and diving in, he lets Seikoo grab the boost. Now he can be second man still. Look, there's another pad grab because he's second man. He thought about coming into first, but he used his brain and said, well, actually Seikoo's coming across, which he should do, which he really should do. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but he should do this. Okay, this is Rocket League in 2024. You should do this. So he comes across, grabs his pad, another pad there from Zen, and now he can come in with his boost to create. So he lets Seikoo stay on the ball and he's waiting. Seikoo's hit the ball, mishit it. Again, Zen's really good at reading this stuff and he's straight in. Had he have gone off the wall himself, he might have caught a 50-50 by letting Seikoo go first and not challenge this, by the way. Notice Seikoo doesn't just dive on this ball. He actually waits for the hit away there and then goes for a hover, gets to the touch. Can't keep up with it, it's going to be awkward. Zen can now come underneath, put the ball high, and he sees Jazzy go up, so he's now trying to block. That's why he's flying across here. Block a potential save. Moves out of position. Seikoo here, this is just such good teamwork. Again, watch Seikoo's perspective. Stays in the middle. Doesn't force himself forward, okay? Doesn't come here like this, like a lot of players would do. Oh, my teammate's here, right? I think I can score from here. You can't. He comes from, where is he? Further out, tends to be this boost at the higher level. We like this boost here because most players don't have the vision and the reaction time of these pros or the read of the balls, so you can get away with this position to Grand Champ. But these guys now, they're quicker, they're smarter, they can read, not smarter, they're smart at Rocket League, but they can read the ball. So they're going to go much closer and get the shot. Really good play there. It was really nice to see that first man rotation and staying on the ball there. Really cool to see. Nice fake from Seikoo. Sends across to the side here. He's waiting for the 50 to spill out. I do think he could have been more central here, in all honesty. I do think he could have been here because it's just as likely to spill out that side. As we can actually see, he gets put to that side. So if he was more central, he could move into this a little bit differently. But he does get the demo. And now this is really the key element, and I feel like a lot of players miss out on this. Like I say, at the higher level, players know how to defend, and Zen doesn't necessarily want to take this directly into this player, because if he takes this 50, it's very likely to dunk towards his net, because there's very little chance of his ability to win this is very low in relation to the map. So what I mean by this is, obviously the 50-50 can go this way. I mean, it can go all these different directions, right? But if it goes this way, the 50, what's that going to do? It's actually going to bounce this way, so technically it's going that way. So basically, Zen knows here a 50-50 in this position, unless it's a low 50, or he gets a perfect flick, which is dangerous because, again, Fabzo's in a good position. He knows how to defend, can actually lead to a counter-attack with map space. So what you see higher levels of players doing, you see this in ones as well, they'll actually take the ball away. They'll take the ball back. They will do drag backs. How crazy is that? Smart is what it is. So Zen comes in here and he tries to just take it away, and he just blocks across and tries to go into map space. Here. Now Seikoo knows he can get on the ball before Zen because Zen's low on boost, so he'll leave the boost for Zen but get on the ball, keeps that pressure, and again, he has got space. So you're probably thinking, well, hold on, he's got map space. He's got loads of map space. Because Zen did not attack head on and in fact came back with the ball and let them hit the ball, but he's blocking goal side, and notice Seikoo is as well. They're double layering on the defense. The ball comes back into the corner and they've given up space. So now they are in trouble. Seikoo's just trying to play this away. That's all he's trying to do here, is play this away. Again here, Similar to before, similar to what we saw from Fabso, Zen doesn't jump off here because that's a difficult angle. He needs a bit more space on his angle, so he's pulling back a little bit. Now look at the difference. Oh man, this is so good. So he doesn't just dive in here. Loads of you would. I know you would. You've probably got the world's best mechanic because I've heard it a lot. But the real play with the world's best mechanic is not going to just force that there. He actually wants more map space. He needs the map space to get his move off. And this is again what he's known for. He is known for coming off the ground. Zen's percentage of aerial attacks from the ground is actually higher than the wall in success rate. So he actually prefers to go directly upwards from the ground. And the reason is because he can jab better than anyone else. Those jabs are unbelievable. I tell you what, when you watch this, you just think, God, I need to work on my fundamentals because look at this jab. That is unbelievable to be able to do this consistently. He gets his jabs directly up every single time. That is what I'm talking about. You know, you can have all the razzmatazz in the world, but if you can't jab the ball, you can never get to the razzmatazz. We know so many mechanical players. There are so many that can't do what Zen does because they don't have this first touch. One of the biggest comments is, how do you get Zen's first touch? You got to practice the fundamentals and build upwards. You can't skip ahead. So gets this jab upwards. And again, once he gets the jab, so here, fakes for map space. He needs map space. That's going to be a big key here. And it also really messes people up because Jazzy really expects him to go for this and he doesn't. And now he's stuck because he can't move into this space now. So both of these players are trapped. I mean, it's just, this is what I'm talking about when you don't go into corners and you don't just force the ball through. If you think about playing for map space, because of the way everyone expects you to go straight away, they actually freeze themselves back and now they're trapped. So what will happen is you'll have the person on the goal line, which is Fabso. They just start to linger forward. So now there is actually space behind him because he's not blocking the net. So if you can figure out a way like Zen's done to get up and go above the players and then shoot it over the top of them, you're going to have a lot of success because they're not actually blocking true goal side. That's where this game gets very layered, okay? Because it's no longer, am I here on the ground and he's blocking me? It's actually, well, if he sneaks forward, can I go above him to get my shot off? And that's exactly, and it comes from, again, faking the map space. I don't want to keep on about it, but notice the drag back, and then straight after the drag back, another drag back into another jab, then his double jump into his boom, flip reset there. That's where the mechanics comes in. And look at that. Just so well done here. Gets his flip reset as quick as he can. It's good from Fabso. I mean, this isn't easy from Fabso. He's got to do something. I do believe Fabso should have already jumped here because Zen has jumped and he's, he should have gone up, especially knowing what Zen can do. And he just misses. I think he possibly could have, and he shouldn't have gone so far away from goal side, in my opinion, to go up, because as you can see, he's having to really stretch to come across. I mean, I could be wrong here, but maybe that was the best option at the time. But I do think he could have gone more directly up and tried to block more central from the beginning and force Zen, because he could have come here, grabbed this, and now gone up like this and float here. Now he really forces Zen to go into this gap here, and then he maybe could have come down. Because the reason I say that is that Jazzy's on the backboard anyway. So if he can block, if Fabso can block the back post, and then Jazzy's on the front post, that could be a little bit more successful. But again, Seikoo in the middle. So he's in the middle, waiting for this play. And again, he's reading it again. Vision beats everything. So he's sneaking to the side. You can see the momentum of everyone. So you're probably looking at it and go, well, is this fundamental? Yeah, it is, because again, he's got reads, hasn't he? Ball's going this way. Zen's going this way. Jazzy. Fabso's going this way. So he's going to move to this way, but he's not going to cut himself short. He's not going to go straight here like most people would. He's going to give himself an angle to attack, because as second man, the main thing is defending. But if you can get an attack out of it, boy, you better get an attack out of it. So he doesn't go so crazy. Notice a lot of players would be here. I really believe a lot of players would be here. Gives himself that space. And then it's as simple as a front flip. A really nice play there. Good kickoff. Great follow. Yeah, he's trying to sneak it around him. So again, I mean, this is again matching the height of the ball. Zen's already pre-jumping because he thinks they're going to go up. That's respect right there. And then when they don't, he comes down. But it's the fluidity of it. He barely uses any boost. He reads it straight away. He would have carried on going upwards if it was. Again, look at this move. So fakes that. As Fabso fakes it, ball comes to him. He's going to play it onto the backboard. and he's going to rotate out because he's been forced to rotate here because he's thrown the ball upwards onto the backboard away from himself. Seikoo's sneaking around here, trying to stay close. Look at that. So, you know, many players, my teammate never lets me shadow. My teammate never lets me shadow. Is shadowing really that good? I've been told to shadow. You're not meant to shadow. You're not. You're not meant to shadow, really. I think it's a brilliant idea. This guy, Jazzy, you know, top 50 in the world, possibly higher. He's playing against the best in the world right now. Oh, there's a close enemy. No, I can't. I've played for 12,000 hours. I've done that move a million times in training. I've done that move a million times in games against the high-level players. But now you've got Seikoo in front of you, driving away. It becomes an impossible task. A lot of people ask, how do you stop these players doing their offense? The truth be told, a lot of the time, a lot of players don't have good aerial offense below Grand Champ 3. But what you do to prevent it is what you would do in this situation here. You can take world-class players, but if you put the right focus in their head, in the right spot at the right time, they cannot perform the skill anymore. And that's what you see here done from Seikoo. He doesn't challenge, he stays close. He blocks where Jazzy wants to go. He's actually forcing him to come across into the middle. He closes the distance to force the hit, and it's over. And he gets the ball back, and then he'll match the height of the ball. He doesn't get the best play off the back of it, but the point is, the power of not challenging there from Seikoo is really, really good. So Zen's gone back. It's off the kickoff of pretty much this still. So comes in, and he's looking to play it around the player. Alright, so another thing that people say is, I try and do these jabs and stuff, and I just get dunked. Again, vision. If you see a player behind it, the jab's not going to work anymore. You might have to jump and take a 50 here, try and get centered in the hitbox, but then again, it's kind of high and it might be too slow to recover, especially at this level. So we can't do that. We can't go above them because even if we jab this here, we're probably going to get demoed if Jazzy dives. So we have to try and play it around them. But always remember that rule. You either want to beat the first man by playing it around them, above them, you know, just getting it around them is the key. We've got to get it around him first, then tries to do that, and it's a good read from Jazzy, but not many players would read that. But again, he's played it, tried to play it at least around him. There it is. That's good enough. That's good enough. He tried to play around him because now as first man, because Zen's still first man here, right? Now, most of you will go and rotate, but why would you want to rotate here? Have you got time to rotate here? Does that put your teammate in a bad situation? Does that mean they're going to have to launch themselves forward to make this save? And what if they miss? And we're rotating. Then we're in a 2v1 and we're collapsed. So it's always, if you can, as we do, as we always say, if you're first man, get on the hover straight away and block the ball, because as you'll notice here, okay, Zen is moving in the direction the offense is going. So you look here, see how he's moving at the same time? So it's much easier for him to get involved there and shake up the shot and throw the player off. And if you don't believe me, look at it from Jazzy's perspective. He goes up, he's like, this will be good. Well, I've got this. Ah, no. Then comes in, so I'm going to have to throw it away. Seikoo did a good job getting onto the backboard here and soft touching it. Doesn't shoot this away. Another thing I saw in this Champ 3 games especially was everyone shoots everything as hard as possible. Soft touch there and soft touch there. Look at that. I didn't even know this was going to happen. So soft touch, I can't remember. Okay, stays behind the ball. So you think, well, he's going to shoot it now. But why would he shoot that away? Because if he shoots it away, the ball's going to hit the ground before he is. It's gone away. Fabso gets a free ball. We need the ball. We need possession. We need map space. That's what Seikoo's trying to grab here. He might get demoed though, or bumped. There you go. So it was difficult, but that's what he has to do. And if you look at Zen's perspective, he's going to come in straight away. There's a massive gap. You guys can see the gap here. So Fabso's trying to come too much here to get onto maybe some sort of offense. Zen sees the gap. He can go inside to outside. He's technically first here, and he sees the height of the ball. So if he gets up to the height of the ball fast, he's taking an inside to outside 50. So if you look at this, up, look at that. So therefore, he's above the opponent, which is the most important thing when taking a 50. Inside to outside, as in, people go, what does inside to outside mean? If you look at the map, all right, Zen is most inside, as in he's closer to the inside, the infield, if you imagine this, closer than Fabso is. You see Fabso's further away. So Fabso's 50-50. He's on the outside, if we actually put this a little bit further forward. So he is, I know it's just passed, on the outside of the ball. Oh, God, wrong button. Trying to come in. And Zen's on the inside of the ball coming out. And the inside is much more successful than the outside, statistically. It always has been. So when you're ever challenging a 50-50, ideally, unless you know and you've got the gaps, you do generally want to go inside to outside. Again, there are mini games involved in that. Now, I don't like this play, I got to be honest, because Zen just gives up and just rotates, and now they've just given up free map space. I don't think this is the play to make. I think it was a great 50, and I know he went for the boost here, but I do think here it should have been a turn and stop. Slow down, and now try and come forward here, try and path on this. So you now want to, because you want to be able to move with the target. So like grabbing these boosts, moving with the target, and then going up if you need to, and start hovering as Seikoo goes back. I do think this could have been very deadly in the wrong hands. Again, I mean, even Jazzy getting up above the ball, but it's just not as clean, is it? But you can imagine the danger this puts above them, because Zen's just gone. They've got loads of map space, and Seikoo is flying in. You can see how awkward it is for him. He's not going to be able to retain possession. So this could be, as small as this move looks, this could be the straw that broke the camel's back. Because what they've done is they've given up, you know, map space here. And this can cause a reaction. Now we've had to burn a lot of boost here. Just went from 100 to 39 in the air. We landed on the boost. But, you know, so that could have been very dangerous. And again here, Fabso defending from behind, or just play it across and play it into space. He now has map space, so this has caused a chain reaction then. So this playing the map space has caused more map space, and now we're getting attacked by a map space again above the ball. I think there's a demo there as well, because there's a tracking going on. If you look here, Jazzy can track Zen, boom, we get the demo. It's a 2v1, could even go for the demo on Seikoo. Seikoo takes the 50. Big problem here, because he is the last man, takes the 50 again, he gets above the hitbox. Can't stress this enough. You look at Fabso, if you want to win aerials, you've got to get higher than the hitbox of the opponent. Again, if you look at it here, can you see how the orange hitbox, the nameplate, guys, can't stress this enough. The nameplate is higher. Okay, so he's going to win that 50. It wins the 50, and now again, they are constantly in retreat mode, because I think that rotation really did mess them up. Good demo as well, but they're just forced out of map space here. So again, look at the map space. So Zen's trying to come in here. He knows they've given up map space. Jazzy can actually take their time and go for a pinch. They're still doing a good job because they're pulling map space out. This is causing a lot of issues. And the other problem it causes with this map space and this rotation is now Seikoo is gone into a really unfundamental position here. All right. So we talk about it a lot. You know, Zen did a good job because he was able to move forward into the ball earlier. If Seikoo was here, the first thing he should have looked at is whose hitbox is higher. Jazzy's is higher. He's more likely to win this 50. Right, I'll wait a second. And then if I really want to push out, I can move again and I can move forward into this ball if I wanted. So he could have come there. You know, he would have a much better read than I am. But if he's here, at least he can move forward into this ball and just touch it here. Similar to exactly what Zen did earlier. And then they're off. What happens is, and something I say a lot, I hate corner pickups. I've seen high-level players mess this up. And I think, you know, Seikoo's the highest level player I've seen mess it up recently. It happens a lot. It is a very difficult thing to pick the ball up like this. Which is why I don't like having this second man come in and pick the ball up there. Because that's why I'm not a fan of following the teammates. In my opinion, Seikoo should be much more central here, especially when you're pushing out a defense, because all it takes is a 50-50 to be lost, and that ball is coming at you into the corner, and it's difficult. This is the reason why offense is successful. It's because of stuff like this. Two players are in the corner. Now look at this. Comes right to the ball, and then just gets an open net. There's no goal side presence. That's just my opinion. Seen it a lot. Alright, so 31 seconds on the clock. Close game here. They've got a goal lead. Again, a great kickoff. I mean, these guys are just doing such a good job of the kickoff. Another kickoff goal, 6-6. I think they faked that. Zen doing a good job going for a flick here. Not a lot of mustard on it, but that's fine. He's trying to get some space here. Like, again, notice this 50 here. Like, he doesn't force that ball forward. He's actually, if you look at it here, he's actually trying to get space. If you watch, you see how the ball is actually very slightly moving away from the net, to allow him space to move back in. It reminds me of that bluey air dribble. You got to come away to come in. It's still super difficult here, and they've pretty much locked up the net here. You've got one right there, just going to block that. Force the play from Zen, which means you get the free touch. And again, Fabso really good, going directly upwards. into the air. Just couldn't do it like Zen, because again, they get to that height and then they start pushing it forward, whereas Zen would go upwards to here and really force that if I'm going to be out of position, you're going to be out of position. And keep in mind, the genius of grabbing this flip reset off the ceiling means you can just double jump down and get down so quick off the ceiling. I mean, it's such a smart play. Good job from Seikoo, moved with the ball. Let's just make a big key highlight here. He's moving with the ball here. See how his momentum's moving with the ball, which means even if he loses, if he gets bumped or whatever, even if he hits it, he is now bumped straight into second man position and he's recovered. So he's not coming forward into a play, and that's the be all end all. And guess what? You've got now the best player in the world with map space, comes off the wall, soft jab, keeps the ball close, gets that flip reset early, and then that is really smart as well what he does there. So it's pretty much impossible to save this. So Jazzy goes up, and remember we said you need to go up above. So what Zen does, he just fakes it low. And he actually does an empty jump there to keep his hitbox a little bit higher. So there you go. So biggest takeaways there is be willing to move into space, get really good at ground stuff, because that sets your aerial stuff up. Keep in mind, guys, every time you've seen in the fundamental series a jab, that could be an air dribble. Do you see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. We just do the jab now, but it goes into air dribbles. It goes into your flip resets. Nice and central. And the main thing is map space is the king, and it will be for the rest of Rocket League's time now. You're going to see way more players going to their own backboards and creating full map plays. And yeah, I think I called that 6-7 months ago. So you're going to see more of it. That's a really cool goal explosion. Oh, it's dragons. So yeah, really do appreciate everyone messaging me for this. Like I say, in the next month, we're going to have like a 10-minute video explaining all the main stuff Zen is good at, all the main stuff he does with the highlights, and a training pack so you can try and emulate and play like Zen. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for the support. Do appreciate it. Look after yourself and peace out. Peace, peace.